just going to do it again. Look, I like it. Look at that. Whoa. In this video, I'm very happy to finally be putting a first generation Renault Twingo through its paces. This is a Benetton special edition, I think from 1996. It has the old Clé Enfant engine, which dates all the way back to 1962. But what's it actually like to drive? Is it as fun as those cute looks make out? So the Renault Twingo was launched way back in 1992 and became a massive hit. I think in just over 2 years they'd made 500,000 of them. Hugely popular. Production of the first generation stopped in Europe in 2007, at which point the rather more plain second generation took over. But production actually continued in Colombia until 2012, and they were also produced in far-flung places like Uruguay. But sadly, we never really got them in the UK, and I've always thought that is a bit of a shame. They even sold them in Japan apparently, but yet they never offered right-hand drive. So sadly, every Twingo first generation has the steering wheel on this side, regardless of where it was sold. Thankfully, quite a few have since made it over to the UK, but I knew this example was particularly lovely. Look, the united colours of Benetton represented in the amazing seats, and plastic that would have at some point been blue but is now brown. It's like the colour changing t-shirts Benetton did, so maybe it just means it's sweating. I don't know. If we jump in, we got funky column stalks to just make it all a bit more fun. Nice coloured switch gear. We got a display of warning lights in front of us because the speedometer is over here. If I put the ignition on, we can just about see. It's actually really difficult to make it out. It is illuminated with the speedometer, and we don't have very much fuel apparently. Two blobs. We've got 5-speed gearbox, but there were semi-automatics and a full 3-speed automatic offered as well. Storage is limited to a bit of a shelf, but my friend Leontine has got her music here. What have we got? There 50 Grushed disco hits. I think that's the best disco hits, and radio 10 hits. So there we go, a slightly more modern head unit in place to make full use of the functionality. But what I love is look at the controls for the mirrors. It's ridiculously over-engineered, but I guess it means they're quite a distance away. It means you can adjust it without having to stretch too far. Part of the Benetton package is a full canvas sunshine roof, which I'm making full use of today. The Twingos are always a free door, so the seats tilt so you can get in the back. Okay, I'll do it. Let's see how this goes then. I presume it's this control here. Oh yeah. Oh wow, the whole seat tips forward. That's quite funky. I like that. And then we jump into the back. Down comes the seat. And actually, with the seat set for me, there is just about enough leg room. It is a little on the tight side. This seat does not support very much of my back. Let's try and show you. It's all the way down there. My head is actually in the sunshine roof, but you'll note this roof does rob a bit of headroom, so maybe I'll be better off in a normal hard top. The rear windows don't open. It was always a super basic car. It is said it's so basic that the aerial was fitted to the mirror to save on the cost of cabling. I don't know how true that is. That might be one of those urban myths. I love the method of getting out. I kick that pedal there, or I lift it, there we go, with my foot, and the seat lifts out the way. That's really nicely engineered. They clearly didn't spend much money, or save much money rather, on that. That's great. So under the bonnet we find not only the pantograph wiper, which I'm definitely looking forward to playing with, but we find the Clé Enfant engine, which, like I say, dates back to 1962. It's been used in rear engine, mid-engine, front engine, you name it. It's been used in all manner of cars. In fact, a notable car that uses this engine is the mighty Dacia we bought in Romania. That was in a larger 1.4 litre capacity. By this stage we've got modern things like fuel injection and whatnot to make it behave like a normal car, but you know, it is still overhead valve. Later on, the more modern engine, the 1.2 out of the Renault Clio, was used in these cars. Actual overhead cam for a little bit more pep. Boot space seems pretty decent. Look at that, a lovely depth to it. Oh, let's have a look. Oh, it's under there. the floor goes down even more. It's a full-size spare, so lots of space. This one doesn't seem to have a load cover, so better not put anything valuable back there. But the rear seat, I think it slides back and forth as well as going flat for a bit more load space. Let's see if I can do that. Oh yes, there we go. If you push that lever down, you can move the rear bench back and forth, so I could get myself a bit more legroom, a lot more legroom in fact. Look, it's like a limousine now. It hasn't actually harmed boot space that much. We'll go back to where it was and lock it in, and that control is also used to tip the bench forward once you've folded the seat backs for a bit more space. Okay, here we go then. I can contain myself no longer. Let's do the wiper test. All you got to do is, oh, look at that enormous pantograph wiper. Gives amazing coverage for a single wiper. Goes right to the end here. Yeah, you got the corner of disappointment. It's like a conventional wiper layout. That's a joyous thing. Rear wash. Oh, look at that. I don't think that one gets used so much, but that's still a very pleasing performance on the wipers. Right, let's go for a drive. Start the engine then. And it has to be said, it doesn't sound like a Renault 4, does it? Or maybe it does a bit. It definitely sounds very, very Renault, but more 1980s. Oh, clutch is rather robust. The super sank, but here we go. And it feels very delightful to drive, actually. Nice light controls and a peppy little engine. It's only rated at 55 brake horsepower, but being a slightly old school engine, it means it's got a lovely spread of torque to it. So although there isn't much torque, you find it kind of everywhere in the rev range, so it's very tractable. We'll go into Alst for a bit of Drempel testing. And I think we can call that performance very French, very supple. But knowing French cars, that won't come at the cost of handling. I don't know how they do it. An extraordinary blend. But yeah, I always knew this would be a dangerous test drive because I think I could definitely get on with a Twingo. Mini Hubnut harbours a dream of going to Europe and buying a Twingo to bring home. And I share that dream very much with him. It's got everything I want. It's got character, it's got colour, it's definitely not even slightly bland, and it's got a pantograph wiper. What's not to love? No power steering, but it's only when you're really slow that you feel the lack of that. As soon as you're moving, it's nice and light. And the gearing doesn't seem that bad. It's not like it's geared for ease of use, where you end up twirling the wheels 600 times to turn around a corner. So like I said, the Twingo enjoyed a very long production run and a massive sales success as well. But the Clermont engine, which is named after the factory it was built in, it was initially called the Sierra engine, believe it or not, was the most produced engine in Europe. In fact, I think possibly the world, apart from the small block V8. I think they're still making small block V8s. Nice little Volkswagen Fox there, also very yellow. Anyone punched anyone yet? So here we go, onto the roundabout. Oh yeah, body roll's the thing. Very French in that regard. But considering it's got just 55 brake horsepower, this feels peppy enough. That's us at the legal limit of 80 kilometers an hour, not miles an hour. Shut the window a bit. Yeah, the only problem with doing that, you do get a bit of buffeting from the sunshine roof, but what an amazing little car this is. And it just feels, because France is so big, it just feels so accomplished at this, cruising along at slightly more than the speed limit. I'm very sorry, Netherlands. We'll bring that back down again. But it feels like motorway driving would be No strain whatsoever. I'm just going to do it again. Look, I like it. I like it. Look at that. Wow. That is a beautiful mechanism. But like I say, it's huge following for these cars. We've got a Twingo club in the UK. Hello, Chris. And they actually had a stand at the NEC. Was it the restoration show? Last year, I think it was. So yeah, very, very good that there is such a following for them. You find lots of information online as well. People are very enthusiastic about these cars. But for me, this is the one. It's the old engine, no power steering, keep it all as simple as possible. Very much part of the appeal. Oi. That feels so like a Renault 4. I've just noticed the hazard light switch is like a little ball there. That's quite funky. I love that something so different was so popular. It just proves, oh, that's bad buffeting. It just proves that there is such a massive need for cars like these. Things are so boring in the modern era, but here is a car built after the 1990 that is full of character, but not at the cost of usability. I mean, sure, if it's a family car you're after, some rear doors might be nice, but yeah, for a lot of people, this is all the car you need. I love it. Oh, and can we just take a moment to appreciate the seat comfort? They're so soft and squidgy. Absolutely lovely. So there you have it, folks. I think it's my new favourite car, and I want one in a nice bright colour like that, please. They did give them a facelift in 96 or 98, I think it was, at which point the indicators became part of the headlamps. So I think they went clear, and by that stage you can get all manner of luxuries. I don't want luxuries, super basic, please. That is a joyous car to drive, and just so usable. Unlike cheap small cars of yesteryear, perhaps, says the 2CV owner. But yeah, huge thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to head to the Hubnut store if you would like to buy some quality merchandise, and we'll see you in a future video. Farewell. I love it.